Antelope Freeway 1 mile. Antelope Freeway 1/2 mile. Antelope Freeway 1/4 mile. Antelope Freeway 1/8 mile. Antelope Freeway 1/16 mile. Antelope Freeway 1/32 mile. Antelope Freeway 1/64 mile. Antelope Freeway 1/128 mile. Antelope Freeway 1/256 mile. Antelope Freeway 1/512 mile. We've just passed Antelope Freeway.
This is Dale Matthews. I run a successful little website called BadCounty.com where we keep track of local politics and Josephine County government officials. I've been doing this for about a decade, but our website videos are fairly new. Once it was announced that there would be no recall of Cherryl Walker on the November 2014 ballot, we got the news out to all of our subscribers within about 3 minutes. So that's for you to think about, whether you wish to be tied in with what's happening with the news, how important that is with you. You can arrange that with us. Well, now that a couple of days have gone by, a lot of people are saying, no, wait, how is this possible? With all the signatures they got, how is it possible it's not going to be on the ballot? What's going to happen next? What's Cherryl Walker going to do now? What's going to happen to all of us? What's going to happen to you, Dale, at these meetings, at these county meetings? Is she going to take any of this out on you? What does it mean? Where's the analysis? Well, we're not going to find any analysis of this in the Daily Courier and certainly not on KJO. So one of the things I do is I try to help people figure out, well, what does this mean? Let me tell you first what happened. In order to get something on the ballot, you have to get a certain number of signatures, and it's based on a formula from the state and etc. But basically, we needed 4,994 signatures to get this thing on the ballot. Collected in time were 6,587 signatures, which is quite a bit more than was necessary. So, what happened? Once they were turned in, the clerk has a few days, the county clerk, Art Harvey, has a few days to determine whether these are valid signatures. Are these registered voters? Is that really their signature? Who are these people? So what he's supposed to do is take a sample. They don't count all of them, and they run it through their procedure of verifying whether or not these people are registered voters. And then if that doesn't pass muster, then they do it again, but with a different group. Well, the word from Art Harvey is, and you know how much trouble we've been having with Art Harvey, I've been telling you about that. He says, sorry, it's not going to be on the ballot because there's not enough valid signatures. Not enough valid signatures? Not enough valid signatures? So I called the state, the Secretary of State's office, and I said, first, please tell me, what are the three categories? I think I know these things, but I like to double check with them. They said there's three categories of people who are registered to vote. One's called active registered. Those are people who are basically active in the voting process in our county. There's inactive registered. Really? What does inactive registered means? It means, one, you haven't voted in the last 5 years. Haven't voted in the last 5 years. There's 5 levies or taxing districts in 5 years. You didn't vote on any of them? Really? Or there was a presidential election in there. You didn't vote? Really? 5 years? Another reason that you could become inactive registered is that you've moved within the county, but you haven't updated your address. And yet another one might be that your signature doesn't match with your name. Well, that's always a possibility. We have a lot of retirees in our area, and occasionally with people who are a little bit older, their signatures change a little bit. They might be a little shakier than they used to be when they were 16. So that's the big one is not voting in the last election and moving. Okay. You can also be canceled. And in order to become a canceled person, no longer registered in an area, is you've moved out of state, as an example. Or you haven't voted in the last 2 presidential elections. Really? Or did you ask to be canceled? Okay. So I was there when the signature gatherers were asking people questions. And the first thing they ask is, are you a registered voter in Josephine County? Now, they did this so automatically that when I offered to sign, they said, they know who I am. And they said, are you an active registered voter in Joseph? Well, yes. But they were asking everybody exactly the same question. Are you a registered voter in Josephine County? One of the things I didn't know this, is that you have to have voted during the last 5 years. Really? Did you know that? Really now? Did you know that you have to vote during the last 5 years or you drop to inactive registered? I had no idea. And I got a question for you about that. I didn't know that. Maybe you didn't know that. Does anyone bear the responsibility of telling us this rule? Anybody at all? When I talked with the Secretary of State's office, I said, listen, you want people to vote. Well, yes, of course. Okay. So if somebody's getting within 90 days of falling off the register, do you think maybe you could send them, I don't know, maybe a postcard or something saying, hey, bud, you're about to fall off. Would you do that? Oh, that's a pretty good idea. Yeah. Well, yeah, maybe we should do that. You want people to vote? Well, yeah. Okay, then. Tell them. Tell them you're about to drop off the... Do the people really know that they have to vote? There are people in this county who've been voting here for 40 years. I'm not sure they all know this rule, that you have to vote within the last 5 years. The other thing is, they say, well, if you move within the county now, and your address doesn't match, the address that you put down on the sheet doesn't match the address that they have for you at the clerk's office, then you're registered ineligible. You are inactive registration. Inactive registration because your address doesn't match. The first thing I thought of is, great, you don't have to pay taxes anymore. Because if they can't find you, but I guarantee you, they're going to find you to pay your taxes. If they can find you to pay your taxes, why can't they find you to vote? I think that's a really good one. To me, that's a little bit ironic and a bit funny as well. So, they're always going to find you to pay. Now, here's a bigger question. As it turns out, according to Art Harvey, the county clerk, nearly a third of the people who put their signatures on the petitions to recall Cherryl Walker, at least try to get it on the ballot, were not registered. Okay, now, that brings up a sort of a funny thing here. It's a little bit strange. We've had several elections in the recent past where people have put things in petitions. Think of the 4 junk ordinances that were being pushed by Cherryl Walker. Well, a lot of people had to sign that to get that on the ballot. And when people were pushing in order to have money for the taxing district for the animal shelter, that took an awful lot of signatures. So, now hold on a second. Now it suddenly comes up? You mean, we've not seen this 1/3 of voters that aren't registered ever until now? Does that strike you as being just a little bit convenient? How can it be 1/3? 1/3? And then suddenly it's not possible? Why has this not come up before? I have a theory, but that's all that it is. The theory is police can always pull you over for going 56 miles an hour in a 55 zone. They always can. It is the law. But they usually aren't going to do that. But they could. Is it possible that Art Harvey was harder on the recall petition people than he's been in the past? If he's not being harder, then what accounts for 1/3 of these people not being registered? Because we're all liars and cheaters? I don't think so.
We just passed Antelope Freeway.